home to let y'all know
When
we
he's
have
wrong,
some sense.
when he's
and
wrong, he's always joking.
to have some sense because this next topic to bring us home actually affects all of us per millionaires.
Speak for yourself.
Millennials are the most educated yet the least financially stable and the worst paid generation in history according to research. So I'm just going to read a little bit of this. Millennials stand out as the most educated in American history, with approximately 40% holding at least a bachelor's degree. However, this impressive academic achievement hasn't translated into the financial security. Compared to earlier generations, millennials face greater challenges and challenges in building wealth and achieving long-term economic stability. Now, this article, and I can reference this a little bit more. It kind of has more of the financial breakdown. It does kind of start in 2013, but before we add more of that, how they kind of break down numbers and figures, we are millennials, a lot of millennials in the room. How do y'all feel about that?
100% correct.
Wow.
Absolutely.
What's going on with us?
I ain't gonna check nobody else's pockets. I don't know. What Did I do it right? No, but I don't know what motherfuckers making. You know how much Josh makes a year?
Kind of.
So you don't. All right.
Yeah.
Who's your best friend?
Uh,
Do you know how much your partner makes?
absolutely.
Actually, no. Yeah, that's gonna.
Yeah. I mean, I think that.
Or how they manage their money.
Yeah. Well, no, I think that it's 100% true. I think that the fact that a lot of us were scamming not scam, but
You're a
I'm
scammer?
gonna say scamming the idea of like we all needed to go to college. You know what I mean? Like I think I was one of those people that fell into that as well, to where I took on the burden of those borrow loans. So now, think about it. I went to a public school and got a bullshit degree in Parks and Recreation, but yeah, I owe like $58,000 in student loans. Like, how does that make sense? You know what I mean? My uncle, I remember when he was taking me around to do like college search and stuff, he was like, yeah, dude, when I graduated, I owed like $1,800 and I paid it off in like a summer working at a bar, right? So then you look at us now as millennials going to college and we owe all of this money, and then we're guaranteed a job right after college, but the jobs are always bullshit. And they're like, oh, you got to start at this level making $15 an hour, even though you just graduated from college. And then you're like not catching up continuously, because obviously now is what we're all living through. I would call a recession in a way, where things are going up and our wages are still the same. In Iowa, it's still $7.25 an hour legally. Think about that. Legally, it's $7.25 an hour still in Iowa.
Damn.
That they can still pay you that.
What's the cost of living like there?
That's expensive. Like you're paying for a one bedroom about $1,000. Like, but you're not putting all the other aspects into it, like owning a car, insurance, bills, phones, other circumstances that we don't know about that people are also struggling with, right? So I think that a lot of times we have to look at it from a whole point of view of why people are struggling. Just because Billy is making $90K a year and you go, oh, Billy is struggling though. But like, we don't know what Billy's going through. You know what I'm saying? We don't know if Billy owes money, or mom is sick, or uncle is sick, or you know what I'm saying? So I think that our cost has gone up dramatically, and I don't think that we as millennials are being paid fairly. And I 100% agree. I left one job from $46,000 a year to $80K, and it was just the fact that I was living on $46,000 a year, and then I went to $80K a year, and I still felt like I was still catching up, even at $80K a year. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I 100% agree that, and millennials have a huge impact on that. Like we all struggle.
Just to chime in real quick, I say I agree with you within certain aspects of what you were saying in terms of the pay scale for certain jobs. One thing in the last 20 years, though, I feel as though our generation has done, we've went to college or pursued degrees based off of what we deem to be our passion, or our, with something or industry that we have emotional attachment to. The purpose of school is to get a job that can sustain yourself, and hopefully along the way you can build some life skills and network. But that needs to be the number one focus. And unfortunately, more times than not, if you're getting a job in a sociology focused degree, the pay scale for that is only going to be a certain level. So you have expectations of making, $100,000+. Maybe you need to focus a degree in a STEM related field, medicine, agriculture, so forth and so forth. And I could just speak to like how HBCUs were geared like in the 80s, 70s, and 60s. That's why we had a lot more black people working with their hands back then. And while they may not be the most, have the highest level of traditional education, they knew more and knew how to make money.
Yeah. Well,
1 second. We have a fact.
Yeah, I'm just going to read off some numbers here. So the cost of a college education in 1960 was about $1,450 on average.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, for a year.
break it all down. It's crazy.
Today, would be probably
For a 4-year degree.
for 1 year out of 4 year, it's about 9,500 to 32,500.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and then also between inflation between then and now, $1.1960 is worth $10.80 today. And also, if we want to talk about production and jobs, just in the food industry, which really you're turning over the same product, bread, vegetables, whatever food, has actually increased 390% since 1960, but pay's only gone up with inflation probably like 2%.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's what I mean about like people don't realize that it's a lot of times it's just circumstances, and just kind of piggybacking on what you're saying about like people should focus on certain jobs that pays more, but it's like sometimes people aren't looking for money. You know what I mean? Like sometimes people are doing things that they are truly passionate about, but it's like it's not fair for us to go, well, just because you're a janitor that you only deserve $10 an hour. That janitor deserves just as much of respect and pay as much as me sitting at a desk doing absolutely nothing. And I'm not saying like
for sure
there isn't a pay scale.
For sure, but then I also wouldn't tell that janitor to then go get a 4-year degree accumulating $120,000 worth of debt in sanitation engineering if you knew damn well that field will never pay enough to make this bill go away.
Is that a real degree, sanitation engineering?
I'm pretty sure it is somewhere.
Yeah, it's like an engineering. It's an engineering thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
but
I'm bullshitting. Like,
that actually sounds like a real important job.
I still don't think it's fair to go, well, like Robert, you have to go and get a engineering degree, because it's like Robert he enjoys this, right? This is what he wants to do. So it's like we can't just go, well, that sucks that you're a janitor and you're not making shit and you can't pay your bills. It's like, well, that's not fair. Like Robert does a great job. He's been here for 5 years. Why can't we pay Robert more?
Okay,
why can't we?
But see, like, those are two separate conversations to me. Like,
the real answer is just capitalism. I mean, that's all it is.
Yeah, it is. But like the increase in like pay scales and like people having a livable wage is one thing. You accumulating college debt, not you in particular, but
no, I do. I have a lot.
Yeah,
I have a lot.
I do too. But that was
my memo. I will say that at the end.
I do too. But like that was my choice to do so.
Yeah.
And could I have? And I still make pretty damn good money.
Yeah.
But could I have, gotten a degree in finance or engineering, something that I know for sure will always be sustainable? Yes.
Yeah.
But
that's just your path, though. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's just your path. So
I'm saying I could have. I did not.
I think
I took that risk.
Yeah.
I think it's also what we don't talk about is the double-edged sword, where it's kind of like I've had the luxury of working in the community with people who do have like high-profile jobs of like being a doctor or like I'm talking about like top of the top. I hear them when they come into my office, right, and how like stressed out, depressed, and how like they're not even happy, and they have the money, and they're just kind of like, man, I really don't see my family, or they're wasting it away doing spooky things, where it's kind of like, yeah, you're working 80 hours for this, but it's kind of like, are you really enjoying it?
Exactly.
And but I hate to say like life.
No, I get what you're saying.
Like you have a lot of times you have a choice. You want to be happy and get fulfillment with your work, or comfortable, and the very few 1%. Find that balance.
Yeah.
But that's, for me, that's why I talk about content, and then also living in your means, where it's kind of like, I think we can have a lot of the things that we're talking about. You can do that with maybe 80K, or you can do that with a partner that has 30K. But when you combine it, it's like, all right, how do we live within this threshold? Not saying that you can't go on vacation, but this is how we can vacation, you know?
Yeah.
Or this is how we can, like, work with what we have.
Yeah.
And also, that's also not giving into account, the economy, what's kind of going on too as well, because that also, like, affects, but it also gets into the social media, like keeping with the Jones and stuff. As many times we talk about, it's kind of like, oh, I see this person do this. Can you be happy with what you can do?
It's comparison. That's the problem that, because you see a lot of times where, like, those, I fucking hate these Instagram people that go out and do interview of like, how much should men make and whatever.
Yeah.
And it's almost putting on this unrealistic idea of like men need to make 6 figures for me to date them. And then it also trickles down to us as men. That's like, oh, well, like women wants us to make more money, so we have to grind and make all this money. But then it's like, are we really happy? Because
I think it's beyond that. I think this is for both people, where it's kind of like we set these unrealistic standards of what and how we're supposed to live and play house.
Yeah.
Like we're supposed to be equally yoked, and we're also supposed to be doing. I'm just kind of like, can you figure out what works for you with the family you're trying to create?
Yeah, I think a lot of times it's just insecurities. That's like a lot of it. Yeah.
You were talking about, this is a while ago now, but the janitor situation, slightly different job role, but doctors. There's a current doctor shortage in the U.S. Of about like 40,000 physicians because of access to medical schooling.
Yep.
There's a limited number of schools. There's a high bar to get in, and then also they end up with about $250,000 worth of debt when they leave.
Yeah.
And also, when there's a shortage, they tend to reach burnout a lot faster. We have a lot of chronic conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, stuff like that.
And suicide.
Hypertension.
Yep. Yeah, no, that was all I was saying, because it's just like even for like well-paying, kind of well-esteemed jobs, like
it's still
like
short.
doctors, it's still short.
Yeah.
Well, I think my final moments as we wrap this up is shit's getting weird.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me think, like, did I even waste? Well, no, I think I definitely have to go to school for my type of job, where it's kind of like, man, it's kind of like, what kind of world it's going to be like the next 20 years type shit,
Yeah.
Do you have any fear about AI replacing you?
No, because what I do...
I'm not, that was a serious question.
That's a good question, though.
So what Tay's kind of alluding to, I'm a local therapist. I do therapy. I work with all different kind of people, race, creeds, religions, sexualities, all the things. And I want to say no. I would say if you're a really good therapist, people come to see you for you and how you interpret therapy. And just like with any film profession, there's good, average, and like the creme de la creme. And I would say if you're a really good therapist,
where do you fall on that?
I'm not a Medea therapist, but I would say I'm working on doing a better job of this. I think I'm a really good therapist. I think for the people who do pay and see me, I try to give them 150% effort.
I only ask because one of my boys, he admitted to me the other day that he actually uses ChatGPT to navigate arguments with his girlfriend. And it's actually, he says, been very effective in terms of like processing, digesting what she's saying, and then it leading to a healthy resolution.
And I'll say this: you can't chat GBT in the moment. You can't build skills in the moment. And this is why I tell the couples I work with, I'm in the room with you right now, and I know you can do these skills. I already know you can do that, but can you do this when I'm not in the room?
Right.
And it's really in the moment. It's hard to do the breathing skills when you want to wring your partner's neck.
Right.
And I think I work with the clients on like doing that and actually practicing that. And that takes just, it's kind of hard to whip out your phone and be like, should I respond to her?
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. That's just like, that's not human.
Right.
So to me, that sounds like, nigga,
Is this world still human?
Huh?
Is this world still human?
Is this world still human?
It's
Hopefully
we're
starting to get very glued to it. We're starting to get very glued to these things.
Yeah.
You haven't let that thing go in like 20 minutes.
What are you talking about? I'm keeping pace of the show.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
I am.
What?
Did you check the checks?
No. I'm looking at the wonderful breakdown by Tay.
It's first time today, huh?
Come on now, Tay. Come on, Tay.
Well, I'll just say this. If you made it this far, hopefully you're really thinking about what you're doing career-wise, because, you know, that's a big thing. And here at the Play No Games, we have fun, we have information, we have slight controversial things we talk about, but most importantly, we play no games, and we appreciate y'all.
And we have wine.
Hey.
From Andrew.
Thank you.
Of course, absolutely, gentlemen. I had an absolute pleasure. Let's do this again.
Yeah, you know, you in that racing jacket, you came to win.
I did. I came to play no games.
You know, you're not first, you last, Ricky.
Yeah.
Ricky
I don't know what that
Bobby.
noise was.
Oh.
Yeah, no,
Lord.
absolutely. What's that prayer that he did at the dinner table? Like, thank you, Jesus, for this 8-pound. Oh, it's not funny. Never mind. I ruined
We
it.
just gotta get a leopard in here.
Yeah, I ruined it.
All right. And I was about to. If you like what we're doing, like, comment, subscribe. I now know what you're talking about. You need to stop. And we're out. Jesus Christ.
Wait. What happened? What's